A name that curdles the blood and haunts the nightmares of America. Ted Bundy. In the 1970s, this monster carved a path of unspeakable terror across multiple states, leaving a trail of at least 30 shattered lives in his wake. His reign of horror culminated in a final, grotesque act in Florida. A murder so vile it sealed his fate in the electric chair's deadly embrace. Kimberly Leach, a bright-eyed 12-year-old from Lake City, Florida, was born on October 28, 1965. In 1978, she was a 7th grader at Lake City Junior High, her life brimming with promise. A straight-A student, runner-up Valentine Queen, and newly smitten with her first boyfriend, Kimberly stood on the cusp of adolescence, her heart alight with dreams of a new dress for the upcoming school dance. But on February 9, 1978, those dreams would be snuffed out in a moment of unrelenting dread. That morning, Kimberly arrived at school under a sky heavy with storm clouds, the rain hammering down in sheets. Just before 9 a.m., she slipped out of her first period class to retrieve her purse, forgotten in her homeroom. Clutching it tightly, she stepped into the downpour, hurrying back toward her classroom. But Kimberly never made it. She vanished into the storm, swallowed by an unseen evil lurking just beyond the school's walls. By afternoon, a gnawing dread gripped her parents, Thomas and Frida Leach. Kimberly hadn't come home. Frantic, they called everyone they knew, but no one had seen her. When they learned she'd attended her first class but never returned, their worry metastasized into raw terror. They dialed the police, their voices trembling as they reported their daughter missing. Lake City Police Chief Paul Philpott, in a maddening display of skepticism, suggested Kimberly might be a runaway. Thomas and Frida recoiled at the notion, their daughter's shy, studious nature making such a theory absurd. Her friend Sherry Roberts McKinley echoed their conviction, her voice shaking. Kim wasn't like that. She'd never skip class, never leave. Something was wrong. Their fears were confirmed when an eyewitness stumbled forward, pale and shaken, recounting a chilling sight. A white car screeching away from the school just after 9 a.m., moments after Kimberly was seen approaching it. At the same time, a sinister shadow loomed over Florida. 3 weeks earlier, the Chi Omega sorority house in Tallahassee had been transformed into a slaughterhouse. 2 young women lay dead, their bodies broken in a frenzy of violence, while 3 others clung to life, battered and bleeding. Investigators were still reeling when news broke of another chilling incident. The attempted abduction of 14-year-old Leslie Ann Parmenter in Jacksonville, just 60 miles from Lake City, the day before Kimberly vanished. Leslie's encounter was a brush with death itself. A man, nervous and predatory, approached her outside her school, claiming to be a fire official. His words dripped with false charm, but his eyes betrayed something darker. As he tried to lure her closer to his white Dodge van, Leslie's brother, Danny, pulled up. The man fled, tires screaming, but not before the siblings memorized his license plate. 13D 100. Their description birthed a composite sketch, one that sent a jolt of recognition through the Tallahassee investigators. It was him, Ted Bundy. A fugitive from Colorado, already convicted of kidnapping and suspected in a string of murders across 5 states, his face was a specter of death. The realization hit like a thunderclap. Bundy was in Florida, and Kimberly was likely his latest prey. A statewide manhunt erupted, his name plastered across the FBI's 10 most wanted list. Every second that passed tightened the noose of fear. Kimberly's life hung by a thread, if she was even still alive. 6 days later, on February 15, 1978, fate closed in. Bundy was caught in Pensacola, driving a stolen car, his eyes wild with the desperation of a cornered animal. Inside the vehicle, police found a cache of stolen credit cards, each one a breadcrumb leading to his crimes. One card revealed a chilling truth. On February 8th, Bundy had bought gas in Jacksonville, delivered to a white Dodge van with the license plate 13D 100. Another card placed him at the Lake City Holiday Inn, just 3 miles from Kimberly's school, the night before she disappeared. Hotel staff whispered of a man drinking heavily at the bar, his presence lingering like a foul odor. By 8 a.m., he was gone. By 9 a.m., Kimberly was gone. Then came the white Dodge van, a rolling crypt of evidence. Forensic experts uncovered 2 large stains of human blood, Kimberly's blood, mingled with fibers from her purse. Soil and leaves clinging to the vehicle pointed to the damp, desolate banks of the Suwannee River. The evidence screamed what no one wanted to hear. Kimberly was no longer a missing girl, she was a victim. The search for Kimberly became Florida's largest manhunt, a desperate race against time. Police, volunteers, and divers scoured 2,000 square miles across 4 counties, combing dense woods, murky rivers, and forgotten trails. Helicopters buzzed overhead, their blades slicing through the oppressive silence of Suwannee River State Park. Infrared cameras and stereo photography probed the shadows, but the river held its secrets tightly. Bundy, now caged, offered only cryptic taunts. Detective Norman Chapman pleaded with him, "Ted, tell me where Kimberly is. Let her parents have closure." Bundy's lips curled into a chilling smirk. "I can't," he said, his voice a low, venomous hiss. "The sight is too horrible to look at." On April 7, 1978, the search reached its grim crescendo. Florida Highway Patrol Trooper Kenneth Woodrow Robinson led a team deep into the park's tangled wilderness. Near a sinkhole, they stumbled upon a rusted sheet metal shed, encircled by a sagging wire fence, an abandoned hog pen, its air thick with decay. Robinson peered inside, his breath catching. A single tennis shoe lay in the dirt, beside a crumpled pullover jumper. Then he saw it. An exposed bone, gleaming sickly in the dim light. He staggered back, radio crackling as he called for backup. The scene became a tableau of horror. Crime scene tape cordoned off the shed as Dr. Paul Lipkovic, the medical examiner, approached. Inside, he found Kimberly's body, naked save for the jumper, her clothes discarded in a heap. Decomposition had ravaged her, but dental records confirmed the unbearable truth. It was Kimberly. Her neck bore the marks of homicidal violence, a brutal testament to her final moments. On April 12th, Kimberly's funeral drew hundreds to Parkview Baptist Church. Her flower-draped casket stood as a silent accusation, surrounded by sobbing classmates and guilt-ridden troopers who'd searched tirelessly for her. Reverend J.R. Height's voice trembled as he spoke. "Jesus will wipe away your tears, and God will give you strength." But the weight of loss crushed the room. Kimberly was laid to rest at Memorial Cemetery, her grave a permanent scar on the town's heart. Bundy's trials were a grim epilogue. First, he faced justice for the Chi Omega murders, convicted and sentenced to death for the slaughter of Margaret Bowman and Lisa Levy. 6 months later, in Live Oak, he stood trial for Kimberly's murder. The evidence was a noose: the blood, the fibers, the credit cards, the van. Guilty again, another death sentence. In a final act of defiance, Bundy confessed to at least 35 murders, his voice cold as he hinted at more. Add another digit. Kimberly, he admitted, was one of them, taken in a predatory whim as she walked alone. By January 1989, Bundy's time was running out. Lake City still bore the wounds of Kimberly's loss, its children now tethered to buddy systems, their innocence stolen. Mayor General Witt spoke for the town. "When he's gone, we'll celebrate. The bastard will finally be dead." On January 24, 1989, at 7 a.m., Bundy was led to Florida's electric chair, his eyes hollow. His final words, to his attorneys, were a hollow plea. "Give my love to my family and friends." At 7:16 a.m., 2,500 volts surged through him, ending the nightmare. Outside, a crowd cheered, their relief a fleeting balm for the scars he'd left behind.